Yo, what is up guys? Dubois here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So some excellent news in British boxing. Daniel Dubois versus Joyce has been confirmed again. It's been confirmed for the 28th of November. It's going ahead with no crowd obviously. And the best thing about this fight is no longer on pay-per-view. Uncle Frank, Bricktop, Fish Eyes, call him what you want, has delivered for the fans. This is an excellent heavyweight matchup. And listen man, I'm thrilled that this fight isn't on pay-per-view. You know, it probably goes to show where the scene is right now when we're celebrating a fight that's not pay-per-view, which, let's be honest, should never really have been pay-per-view in the first place. But let's get away from the negativity. Frank Warren has delivered for the British boxing fans. This is a great heavyweight dust-up between Daniel Dubois and Joyce. Daniel Dubois, 15-0 with 14 knockouts. Joyce, 11-0 with 10 knockouts. Both guys can punch. Both guys are aggressive. It's going to be a barn burner. The British, Commonwealth and European heavyweight titles will be on the line. And yeah, it's a big test for both fighters as far as I'm concerned. Daniel Dubois, a very young heavyweight. You know, the jury is out on him. This certainly is his biggest test to date. And as for Joyce, let's be honest. Yeah, the guy is technically a prospect, but the guy's 35 years old. You know, a loss to someone like Daniel Dubois would really, you know, push his career back and maybe even rule him out for a heavyweight title shot. There's a lot on the line here. And, you know, stylistically, I can't really see this being a bad fight. I think it's going to be a barn burner. And honestly, I cannot wait. Frank Warren domestically might have won 2020 with this announcement. I'll come out and say it. Especially if they have Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yarde on a separate date. Because I've been hearing about that as well. Apparently, Lyndon Arthur versus Anthony Yarde will be a separate date headlining a show. That in itself is a great headliner for a regular BT card. Listen, that's the sort of standard I want from regular BT cards and regular Sky cards. I want good solid domestic fights that the fans are really into and even world title fights. And right now, you know, BT have really pulled a rabbit out of the hat as far as I'm concerned. I'm a really happy boxing fan. I'm pleased this fight's finally got a set date, and I'm even more pleased that this fight isn't on pay-per-view. And in the long run, I actually think that's better for both fighters, you know, given the exposure both guys are going to get on regular BT. And listen, I think this fight's going to do very well on regular BT. Daniel Dubois in his last fight, I think, peaked at like 400,000 viewers on regular BT, and that was against Ricardo Schneiders. You know, when BT put on big names, they actually get some really good numbers. We saw that with Kyle Frampton as well in his last fight, and he was in a mismatch, and I think his show peaked like 300,000 viewers. So, you know, given the fact that there's going to be a bigger audience for this fight on regular BT, the winner's profile will be boosted dramatically, especially if they win in good fashion. For Dubois, a young heavyweight who's not the best talker in the world, I think a good win here, a win in devastating fashion, would do his profile the world of good. I really do. I think it was too early to put him on pay-per-view. If you win this sort of fight in front of a regular audience, that's going to stand you in good stead for the future. And even for Joyce himself, he himself is not exactly a household name. If he wins, his profile goes through the roof as well. So, listen, short term, yeah, I'm sure the likes of Frank Warren and maybe even both fighters are a bit pissed off that it's not pay-per-view. They're going to be taking less money. But in terms of like long-term gain and profile building, I think this fight is excellent on regular BT. I really do. I think it's going to do both guys the world of good, especially if it's a good fight and especially if somebody wins this fight in devastating fashion. I think this fight is really important for British boxing. I really do. And yeah, I'm very pleased that this fight is regular BT. You know, especially what we've been sold in the last few years on pay-per-view, both on BT and Sky Sports. We've been sold some questionable pay-per-views in my opinion, you know, including Derek Chisora versus Alexander Usyk. Derek Chisora, yeah, he's a good fighter, yeah, he's pretty well known, but ultimately the guy's a perennial loser at world level, and this guy is headlining another pay-per-view. We've got to pay 20 quid for that. in a fight which is basically a measuring stick for Alexander Usyk. These are the facts here. That's how that fight is viewed. That fight is viewed as a build-up fight for Usyk at heavyweight. And the odds reflect that as well, but that's pay-per-view. So it's refreshing to see this fight on regular BT. It really is. I genuinely am stoked. Now we've got an official date, a bit closer to the time, I will make a prediction video for this fight. I've been holding off on it because the date's been up in the air. Now we've got an official date. That's going to come in the next few weeks or so. So, yeah, man, I'm stoked. I really am stoked. Share your thoughts below. It's been your guy, Del Boy. Peace.